Welcome to Passed Out. I'm Josh.
I'm Arash. Today we're going to be talking about Batman Caped Crusader, our top 5 DC animation projects, and MCU updates.
You're listening to Passed Out, the podcast where history, mystery, the occult, and the cosmos collide. Every week we explore new conspiracies, uncover hidden truths, question the impossible, and journey into the unknown. Stay curious, and welcome to Passed Out.
So let's start off with the Batman Caped Crusader, Josh.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it away. So, about 2 weeks ago, I watched we talked about this on the last cast, but we ran out of time. Go us. We always run out of time. I watched Batman Caped Crusader. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. It looks and feels a lot like Batman the Animated Series, but it's kind of weird. Like they take some liberties, like they change a lot of things.
So it's not as much of a true adaptation
It is
as,
not a
let's say,
true
X-Men and
adaptation.
97.
Exactly. It's kind of a we're going to animate and kind of give the dark kind of mysterious world feel of the Batman 1992 animated series, but it definitely changes, it definitely takes some liberties with the lore, and
hmm
I'll touch on that here. Some of the liberties they take are directly from the comics and maybe even earlier comics than things that we recognize as the true source. And then other things are just like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna do a gender swap on this character or something like that. This is interesting. Yeah, you wanna I'll tell you about that one first. So they gender swapped the Penguin in Cape Crusader. You basically have like a lounge singing woman who has an umbrella who is the Penguin.
Why? There's so many good female villains in the DC world, let alone Batman.
Yeah.
They couldn't do
So,
Poison Ivy. They couldn't have Catwoman.
well, Catwoman's in the next episode, and that's a pretty normal episode. And there's some cool shit. There's some other cool shit in there, but yeah, like the very first episode is like a gender swapped Penguin. And then the other thing that kind of threw me off, and this is where like the source, this is where I went back and did some research and like some of the source stuff. I'm like, okay, this is normal. I guess Alfred wasn't always Alfred Pennyworth. There was a time when he was Alfred Beagle, and he was a chubbier, version of Alfred. He was still basically the same character, but he reminded me more of like Watson from
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes. Like it just and like their dynamic, I was like, when they created Batman, were they inspired by Sherlock Holmes? You have this like
Weird.
detective solving crimes who's very smart and has all these resources, and then you have his like sidekick Alfred, which is like his helper, like kind of helping take care of him and his medical problems and like helping, solve some crimes and things that he has insight on. So I just never really made the correlation between Batman and Sherlock Holmes, but like Cape
I
Crusader made me feel that.
I feel like they kind of did that with Gotham in a way, with Gordon and Alfred, like a way stronger Alfred at that time,
Yes.
and Gordon. Their relationship not as close as
Yeah.
Sherlock and Watson, but
Yeah.
it
Which
kind of sounds like what they were doing here, though.
mhm. Yeah, so like they took some liberties. They did some weird stuff in it, but like I still thought it was super interesting and a good watch. So it was fun. I just if you're somebody who's gonna feel offended by somebody changing Batman lore and gender swapping characters, this might not be for you.
It's not even. I don't think a lot of people are even offended at stuff like that. It's just like you just it's just the question why there's so many good female characters, or you could even incorporate a new character that's inspired by Penguin and go off of that. But to have something that you've known for 30 plus years, I mean, Penguin,
Or
almost 80 years now.
or give her a better name. Guess what her name was, bro?
No.
Oswalda.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
It's like having a Mexican penguin being like Oswaldo, Los Penguins, or El Penguin, El Joker.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yes. Crazy, right? So that's but yeah,
That's
it all's well there. So I didn't really have a whole lot more to say on it than that. I thought that some of the changes they made were interesting, but overall, fun Batman series. Had a couple really good episodes that I thought were really interesting. I really liked the episode with Gentleman Ghost, which was pretty cool. Very interesting character to be like, we're gonna pull this character and throw him in here, but I think the further you get into like we're at the point where these things have been in pop culture for almost 100 years now. Like Superman was created in 1933. Like we're drifting into territory where the DC characters that we like know and love today have been around for 100 years.
Are they gonna be in the Creative Commons, like, their first iterations of them, just like Winnie the Pooh and I think Mickey Mouse have
I think super yeah, I'm assuming Superman will
or we're
get
gonna
close
see
to
some
that.
crazy shit in a couple years then.
Yeah.
Wow, if the world
So,
doesn't end.
well, you're already seeing some crazy shit. Like, I know that James Gunn produced Brightburn, but, like, how do you make Brightburn without pissing off DC unless DC, like, signed off on it?
Well, he pretty much runs that portion of DC.
Yes, but when he made Brightburn, he did not.
That's true.
When they produced Brightburn, like, James Gunn wasn't running DC, and that's basically like, what if Superman was not, like, a compassionate kid, and he was just a fucking dick and kills everybody?
Uh,
Like it's
that
probably way more realistic. It's very like Brightburn feels like The Boys to me. I'm
right,
like
or
Brightburn is Homelander at the fucking end. I don't know why I was thinking Star, probably because the Anthony Starr is the actor who plays Homelander.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's also I can't think of it, but he was on Mortal Kombat 1. Let me pull him up. He has the mustache. He kinda looks like Tom Selleck.
Omni Man?
Omni-Man,
Omni
yeah.
Man. Okay.
Omni-Man's
Okay.
kinda like that.
Yes, dude, and so, like but, like, you're seeing that across a lot of things. You have Homelander, you have Omni-Man, you have Superman, you've got Brightburn, like, this is just they've got it in Marvel now. The Sentry is essentially a is Superman, but the Sentry has mental health issues. I don't remember how deep we went on Thunderbolts when I reviewed it, but
We didn't go that deep into it. We probably
no,
went
but
off base
Thunderbolts is
because of me.
basically like, what if Superman had these the Sentry is basically like when he uses his powers, he can potentially like turn into an alternate personality called the Void that just makes people disappear.
That's scary.
Yeah, dude. So he's like real touchy with his powers, but when he uses but like his actual powers, like he's pretty much Marvel's Superman. But like everything's yellow and gold and his powers, are not he doesn't have red beams that come out of his eyes and shit like that. He has beams that come out of his eyes. They're just like a golden yellow kind of lightish kind of thing.
Hmm.
So,
Well, where do you rank it, the Caped Crusader among it does it even come close to top 5?
no, it doesn't even hit my top 10, honestly. All right, so my honorable mentions for DC animated animation, which should we talk let me actually, can I give some backstory on DC animation?
Sure.
So, like, they've always had popular TV shows, They had Batman the Animated Series, they had other things going on in the 90s. They had in the early 2000s, they had a big hit with the original Teen Titans, and they also had a really big hit Justice League, with Justice League Unlimited,
Right.
and I think John Stewart's going to be important to the DCU coming up. So like I think that version of the Justice League is a really good take. So those series are great, which I think Justice League, probably I didn't have it in my honorable mentions, but it should be. That is a great show. If you like Martian Manhunter and you like seeing the origins of all these characters, and Justice League Unlimited, great. Um, at, in the early 2000s, DC decided that like probably around 2004, 2005, Marvel tried to do the same thing before they started making movies. They made a handful of animated unlimited movies in Marvel that were really cool. They had two Avengers movies, and then they had an Iron Man movie that I
Yeah.
really liked, and the Doctor Strange movie was really good. So like I think Marvel and DC started doing this around the same time, but
Right.
DC was doing what I liked about the DC movies is DC takes a graphic novel and does like a very mostly true to the comics approach for how they're going to do it. And then they pretty much adapt that graphic novel into how it would adapt into an animated movie. And then they just release those animated movies. And like it was great when you're not going to release it feels different now when you're just throwing shit on streaming. But like back then when you and it was like, oh yeah, DC's just throwing out like they're just selling DVDs of these animated movies basically. Like they're just releasing these straight to DVD animated movies that you can go buy and I was buying a lot of them because I
Mhm.
really liked them. But yeah, DC and anime and Marvel started doing this around the same time. Marvel stopped after like 5 movies, which
Yeah.
I think they could have kept going because like Hulk versus Wolverine is so fucking sick, and that might be my favorite on-screen version of Deadpool I've ever seen. Is in Hulk versus Wolverine. So, but I don't want to drift too far into Marvel. I'll reel it back in, and we're gonna talk about I'm gonna talk about the honorable mentions list, and then I'm gonna get into my top 5, and then you can get into your top 5. So my honorable mentions are All Star Superman. If you haven't seen All Star Superman, that shit is amazing. It's just a really good Superman movie if you like Superman. I've got Green Lantern First Flight, which also a really good origin story for Hal Jordan version of Green Lantern. Really good animation, and I really like how they portray the Green Lantern Corps and do everything in that movie. It's really good. Based on that, I'm really excited about the Lanterns movie or the Lanterns TV series that's coming to HBO next year. That's going to be fire. I think my favorite thing on my honorable mentions list that I maybe should have put in my top 5 is the Harley Quinn show,
I never
which
got
is
to see it.
dude, it is so good. If you have HBO, I highly recommend it. There's 5 seasons now, and it's that as an alternate take on DC, but it's so funny. You know, you basically have Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy being your main characters, and then just like their crew of villains that kind of follows them around through their story. And but like, dude, it's so funny. They just like kind of dumbed down a lot of characters. Like they kind of made Gordon an idiot, like just like a like drunk kind of fucking like offshoot detective who's just like not really paying that close attention. He's like, Batman's gonna save us all. Like what? You know? But and like Bane, like the Bane in there, Bane's like 100% comic relief nonstop because they just have him. They basically gave him the Tom Hardy Bane treatment, and they have him saying ridiculous shit in that
Oh,
Tom Hardy voice. Like they
nice.
have him like trying to order a smoothie, and he's like, "I would like a Rassy Dassy." Like, okay, dude. But yeah, dude, that show's really good. If you not super close to the comics, but just like really funny, fun stuff takes place in the DC universe, I highly recommend Harley Quinn. Not for kids. Most of the stuff on this list you could watch with your kids. I would not watch Harley Quinn with your kids. That is an adult cartoon. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. I'm gonna jump through my top 5 right now. Number 5 on my list is Superman Doomsday, which is an adaptation of three graphic novels that form the death of Superman, the world without Superman, and Superman Returns. And basically all 3 of those graphic novels forms probably, in my opinion, the best run of Superman that's going to happen. And a lot of movies we have seen so many movies take inspiration from this, but Superman Doomsday, very true to the original comic. In the beginning, Superman dies. They bury him. The middle of it is how does the world without Superman? How does the world deal without having Superman for some time? You know, this is where Lois Lane like wins the Pulitzer Prize because she writes an article called "The World Without Superman," and that's the title of the book. And then you get the infamous Superman Returns, which
Infamous?
famous
Yeah.
is it famous? I just
Because
infamous sounds
infamous
like a
means
code
like
word.
bad
Does
or
it?
famous for a bad reason.
Famous?
Yeah.
Well, it could be famous for a bad reason if you're comparing the movie Superman Returns to the comic book, which they are not the same. Like that is not a movie based on Superman Returns. Now, Superman does return in that movie after he's gone for 5 years, but it's a kind of a different take on that story. Like Superman didn't die; he just left to go
Bounced.
explore space. He was just going to go figure out where he was from and wanted to explore the galaxy.
We all know he went to a red sun.
Partied it up like Supergirl, partied it up with his cousin. So, Now, I'm not talking shit about Superman Returns the movie because I do love that movie. I think Brandon Ruth gets a ton of hate for no fucking reason. He's a great Superman. So put some respect on fucking Brandon Ruth, internet.
Yeah, I think he gets the same treatment as Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
And you know what? Both of those are great takes. And the things that I didn't like about Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, he fixed 100% in No Way Home. Like he brought it back to where I was like, I could do another Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie now.
Mhm.
Um, Let me get into number four. Number four is the animated Wonder Woman movie from 2007. Which, incredible voice cast on that one. You have, damn it, I wish I could tell you who they were, but Nathan Fillion plays Steve.
Nathan Fillion's in a lot of these animated movies.
Yes, he is, bro. He's got a good voice, man. He basically in the animated movie is basically exactly the live action movie you got. You just have Kerry Russell doing the voice of Wonder Woman and Nathan Fillion doing the voice of Steve Trevor, which was played by Chris Pine in the movie. So that's a really good movie. Which Kerry Russell and not Kerry Russell and Nathan Fillion's only movie together. They were also in a movie called The Waitress, where she hates her husband and cheats on him with Nathan Fillion, who comes to her pie restaurant frequently.
Pie restaurant, what a
Pie restaurant, yeah.
metaphor.
Hell yeah.
Let me try your pie. I really like your pies.
It's Kerry Russell, so like I'm here for it.
She was in Felicity, right?
She was in Felicity,
Yeah,
which
okay.
she famously has a very bad haircut in the second season of Felicity that they make fun of in Harley Quinn, actually. But, full circle here.
Is she in Harley Quinn?
What, Carrie Russell?
Yeah.
No, but they make fun of like the Felicity haircut that she has.
What a random thing.
It's so random. But I think she's really pretty,
Yeah.
especially like later. I really
She
like her and
aged
like
well. She didn't
she
get her.
aged very well. She's beautiful.
Dude, we'll talk about if we get time. I want to talk about like those surgeries that like Miley Cyrus and the chick who plays Wednesday have gotten, where it looks like
The cheek,
they're like Lord Farquaad.
yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll get to it on this one. The third movie I have is Batman Under the Red Hood. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Jason Todd, bro. Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
such a good movie.
And that really inspired the Arkham. Was it Arkham Knight
Yes, it
game? Yeah.
it is Arkham Knight. Yeah, instead of being the Red Hood, he's Arkham Knight, and it's basically a take on it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that's a really popular. I think that's one of the more popular Batman Arkham games. After Arkham City, I think that Arkham Knight's the second highest rated. But
I agree. Yep.
the only reason that one's not my favorite is I don't like the car mechanics as like a lot of other people did. Like I don't like having to use the car all the time.
Right.
Like
I
I'd
get it.
rather just fly around the city and be Batman, and like the boss battles where you're like trying to blow everything up with the missiles and like
That was the
you're
biggest
like fighting
critique
your
with it.
tank to his tank, and you're like, this is not what I want this game to be,
Yeah.
you
That was
know?
the biggest gripe people had with
Yeah.
that game.
Number 2 is Justice League: The New Frontier, which I fucking love that movie. I think that is just, like, a really good reimagining of the creation of the Justice League. That one deals with, like a mythical monster island called the Center, which is kind of weird, but, like, I love the art in that movie, and I love the kinda, like, we're going for, like, a 1940s kinda Justice League story, and it felt very Silver Age, so. And then my number one is Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which I think is like the best Batman animated movie. And that's saying a lot. There's a lot of really good Batman animated movies that I really like,
And that
especially
kinda takes place
recently.
in the
Like,
90s too, right?
yeah, it
Like,
does.
with the beginnings of Bruce Wayne
Yeah,
and what was
yes,
her
and like,
name? Beaumont?
yes, I can't remember her name, her first
Andrea?
name.
Andrea
Yes,
Beaumont.
Yeah, Beaumont. Yeah, and the plot twist, she's the fucking Phantasm, which is such a cool villain and has only ever really been featured in that.
Yeah, I rewatched that actually because I have that in my top 5 too. Let me start with my honorable mentions. I have a weird honorable mention, and it if anybody knows me, I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, which translates to NetherRealm being owned by Warner Brothers, which also owns the rights to DC now. I think Injustice 2, I don't know if it really it's animated and it's a great story.
It is a
Injustice
great
2,
story, yeah.
it kind of breaks off towards the end of like whether you take a Batman side or a Superman side. It's
Mhm.
what is it? Red Earth. It takes inspiration from where Lois Lane gets killed.
Killed, yeah, and it turns him evil, yeah,
Yep.
so
So I put that in my honorable mentions. Also, Teen Titans Go. Kind of going off of where you were saying about Harley Quinn, but this one kids can watch. But I think Teen Titans
yeah.
Go is fucking hilarious.
It is really good. I like the 2D animation style of Teen Titans Go, it's fun.
They look like little pop figures.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
Robin's hilarious. Starfire is hilarious. Number 5, people are gonna give me a lot of shit for, but I don't care because I've read a lot, not a lot of interviews, but enough interviews to know the direction they were going and the ambiguous ending of this. I have The Killing Joke as number 5, and I like the darker Batman portrayals.
I do too.
And I love the psychological torture that Gordon faced with having to see images of Barbara and how he perseveres. And you see how Joker and Batman have kind of dealt with the same adversity, but with very different ways. And the laugh at the end, ending it on that pissed a lot of people off, but leaving it ambiguous like that, I thought was a good move.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did too. Are you familiar with the source material of that one?
Was that from what's his name? Frank Miller?
I
Frank
think so,
Miller's
yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Knight?
yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh. So, and I think that one has or maybe I'm getting something else mixed up with it, but yeah, I'm getting that mixed up with with All in the Family. But, All in the Family's where they, like, voted on whether to kill fucking, Robin or not.
Those usually end up being the best
Mhm. Yeah.
type of stories when it's like a Robin or, like either Tim Drake or which we'll
Mhm.
get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have Flashpoint Paradox. I love time travel and those types of stories. I thought it was cool having Thomas Wayne involved, and then the letter that he gives to Bruce, I thought was a nice
Mhm.
touch. Number 3 for me was your number 1, Mask of Phantasm.
It's just so good.
Yeah, it is. And it's from, I think we both can agree, from the best DC series of all time, which is
Yeah,
the
the
Batman animated
Batman animated
series.
series. I think, like, I really like that movie. I also really like there was what is it called? There's a there's a Mr. Freeze movie that came from that was also really good.
I remember that. Don't remember the plot, but I think it came out right around the time that Batman and Robin came out because they
Mhm.
were
It
trying
did,
to
yeah.
promote. Yeah. Number 2 was your number 3, Under the Red Hood, which kind of explains my number 1 because personally, I thought they kind of did it in a more, not sophisticated, but it was just a little bit more surprising of a plot at
Yeah.
times with Batman Beyond Return of Joker. How you have the Joker's gang in there, and it goes into the Tim Drake story, and then you also have Nightwing helping. Or I'm sorry, I'm mixing up Nightwing being in Red Hood, right?
Yes, Nightwing
Yeah,
is in Red Hood, and Batman, like, is, like, not letting him help in Under the Red Hood.
right.
Yeah, and he's, like, mad at Batman, like, the whole movie when he's like, "Why won't you let me help?"
Where's Rachel? But Batman Beyond Return of Joker, Terry McGinnis, he's trying to take the mantle, and I always forget he's Bruce Wayne's son. I don't know why. But and then you see an older Harley Quinn, and it kind of ties the bows to a lot of famous character stories. In Return of Joker, he returns because he puts like this little chip behind Tim Drake's ear and trying to take over his body, and that's kind of like the main premise of it is how to keep Tim alive, but also not kill whatever consciousness Joker has a hold of him with. And so, yeah, those are my top 5. I really hope NetherRealm makes another Injustice game, or even just another DC game in general, because even with the first one, I thought it was a really cool storyline and it translates well to games. Another one's done a much better job doing DC stories than I feel with maybe other than the first Mortal Kombat they did, which is Mortal Kombat 9. I don't really think the stories have been too good lately with
Yeah.
this whole timeline bullshit. You can have them take place in alternate universes and have separate stories each time, but I don't want to have a Johnny Cage from 4 different timelines be in the story. There's no sense of urgency of like, oh, if this person dies, that's it. And I think that's what the beauty of the original Mortal Kombat's were.
Yeah.
I know I
No, I
always go
agree.
into Mortal Kombat, but yeah, so those are the top 5. We have 2, I think, that we share in the top 5
Yeah.
under the
Under
Red
the Red
Hood.
Hood and Mask of the
And I
Phantasm.
think I would have to look, but I would think that a lot of people's top 5 would, even top 3 would have those 2 included in there.
Yeah. And look, I've got some other ones that I think may have been closer to top 5 than some of the ones I talked about. I literally just didn't want to talk about only Batman movies. But, like, I think when it comes to just how good some of these movies are, I think that they make like, the Batman movies they're making are the best ones, in my opinion. Like, there's 3 Batman movies off the top of my head that we didn't talk about that I can think of that are fucking so good. Like, Batman Hush is I don't know if you've seen that one, but Batman if you haven't,
Hush,
bro,
hush.
Batman Hush is so good.
I feel like I have. Which one is that again?
So, Hush is like it starts with, like, Bruce getting hurt.
Okay.
And like so he's not Batman for a while. And like the city kind of starts to like poison ivy like takes over some shit and like there's all kinds of stuff happening while Bruce isn't Batman because he got hurt.
So it's kind of like
Well,
Dark Knight Returns.
while
Is that
he's
what it's based
hurt,
off?
and no, not really. So while
Okay.
he's hurt, so Hush is so while he's hurt this time, and they maybe drew inspiration from Dark Knight, whatever story Bane breaks his bat in back in, which Dark Knight, Rises pulls
Dark
from
Knight Rises. Yeah.
multiple storylines that I can think of. Like you're touching on Talia al Ghul, you're touching on Bane. Those are typically stories that are not together. Typically, Bane is more of how they did it in the original, where it was like some of Ivy's, like plant venom and things like that is kind of how you create the Bane. So the movies take liberties where they pull. I think what the DCEU was doing wrong was pulling from too many sources to try and make one cohesive movie. Like Dawn of Justice is like the Dark Knight Returns. It's Superman Returns. Or I guess they touch on Superman Returns in fucking Justice League. It all kind of blurs together for me. But like they're also like doing but like Superman Returns is also where he fights Doomsday, and they do that at the end of Dawn of Justice. So like I just feel like I feel like you need to respect the source material a little bit more and like make a cohesive good story and people would come to your movies. I think it'd be cool if they eventually started making less universe affecting movies and came back to like standalones.
Me
And you
too.
go back to like taking some of the source materials, just like, hey, we're gonna make Batman the Killing Joke a live action movie because we want to see this like really interesting take of the Joker and Batman in this story. But it is what it is. I want to talk about 2 more animated movies real quick, just from the Batman universe. And both of them are two-parters that came out. Basically, this is like 4 movies, but like the Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2 combined as like the full movie is really good. I love that story and I love, I love that they made an animated movie out of it. That's fucking great. And they recently just did this with Watchmen where you have part
I
1 and
was
part
gonna
2
put
and they
Watchmen in
add
my top
dude,
5.
and
I was trying to find
I
room for
just
it.
I just watched that too and I really liked it. So, and then what else did I want to talk? And then The Long Halloween, if you haven't seen The Long Halloween, that shit is so good. Which that one's like the holiday killer and like they're taking off mobsters and like you've got the whole thing with
Calendar Man is in
Sophia.
that or no?
Kind of. They talk he's in there and he's in the movie in jail and you talk to him.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Yes.
I've seen that one
So,
then.
yeah, The Long Halloween, like, you're essentially dealing with, like, the mobsters being picked off on holidays and, like, it's That's a really good movie, and, like, you know, that one's got, you're dealing with, like, this the Harvey Dent going down the dark path that kind of gets him turned into Two-Face. So, yeah, there's some great DC animation out there.
Let's get into the MCU world. I'm excited to
Yeah,
hear
I
what's
wanna
been going on with my favorite
yeah.
guy in the world.
Okay, you wanna talk about set drama on Doomsday first?
Yeah, I saw the
Okay.
headlines, but I didn't know if they
So,
were clickbait or not.
I can't tell. It's hard for me to understand. I went down a rabbit hole on Reddit last night about this,
That's a
and,
very reliable place for
hey,
news.
well,
I know.
it's all speculation anyways, so we don't know, but apparently somebody is beefing with Robert Downey on the set
How dare them?
of Doomsday, and it would seem, and Ryan Reynolds is filming now for, his Deadpool parts on Doomsday. It seems like Robert Downey's the only one who's on set for the whole thing, and, like, it seems like there's just a lot of sets of casts coming in and out. Like, I feel like the first announcements were a lot of X-Men characters, and you had I saw Tom Holland and everybody filming for that, but, like, now Tom Holland and all of the Spider-Man cast is filming Brand New Day right now in Glastonbury, so
Okay. And so why did they think it's Ryan Reynolds? Because I saw something where it said Robert Downey yells at or goes off on Ryan Reynolds, which I hope happened.
So, the speculation that I could find on Reddit is that they're both the quippy dude who's trying to make everybody laugh and trying to be the center of attention, and the two of their personalities just being very alike in that aspect. There sounds like they're butting heads trying to fight over the spotlight while they're both on set.
Well, let's just compare the two. You have a distinguished actor who's done so many different types of movies, and especially later in his career, overcame addiction and bad press and is a beloved actor in Hollywood. Then you have Ryan Reynolds, who's kind of not gotten along with anybody he's worked with and is, in my opinion, trying to steer his wife, who's like I mean, I'm a nobody, but she's pretty much a C-list actress, and she's trying to have him sue Justin Baldoni over what was a rejected advance by her. And you have this jealous rage, and Ryan Reynolds trying to pursue allegations against him now, and suing him for a smear campaign and all that shit. So you have a guy who's really hated and could put a damper on this whole Marvel universe. So him
Yeah,
trying to
but
take the lead during filming is something I could see him do, and I could see Robert Downey being like, "Look, shut the fuck up. I'm the superstar," which he is out of
he
them
is the
two.
superstar, and look, I've also heard I haven't heard a whole lot of bad things about Robert Downey. A lot of people seem to love him, but the one person which not a credible source really, since he's gotten in a lot of trouble over the years, but Joss Whedon has said that Robert Downey is extremely hard to work with. But it sounds like Marvel doesn't have scripts from the most part. Like, they have, like, these half-assed scripts that they kind of flesh out as they're filming, and then they always bill in reshoots for what the test audience doesn't like. So, Marvel's not doing what other movies do where you have a solid fucking script and then you move on it, which
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody does that, but, like, that seems to be what DC wants to do is we wanna ride on good fucking scripts. Now, Marvel has always just kind of they started with Iron Man, which was basically just Robert Downey and Jon Favreau kind of figuring it out as they went. They had the good test concept. They knew how to make it. They had a good test concept from ILM on how they were going to do the um the special effects and how they were going to make Iron Man, and they had the inside of the helmet camera figured out. Like, they had all these good things figured out that are like the best pieces of Iron Man, and then they just kind of had to figure out how do you make a good origin story and flesh this out. Well, Marvel never really changed their approach. They get the script to like 70% and then they're like, "Okay, we're going to try and make it work and we're just going to start filming these movies cuz we got to move." So it sounds like when Robert Downey came in on Avengers, what Joss Whedon was saying was that, which take Joss Whedon's words with a grain of salt. He's gotten himself in a lot of allegation trouble over the years.
Mhm.
So take this with a grain of salt. Look, I respect a lot of things that he's done. He did Buffy, he did Firefly. There are things I love in his catalog. That he did the first Avengers movie, which I fucking love. Great things have come out of his catalog, but not in recent years. So, but yeah, it sounds like him and Robert Downey feuded. But his complaints about Robert Downey were that this was an ensemble film, and it was the first ensemble film. So, like, Robert Downey's coming off the back of 2 very successful Iron Man movies, coming into being and they're like, "Okay, well, now you have to not be the main character, you are an ensemble character," and it sounds like there were just, like, some issues there, and it sounds like he wanted to rewrite some of his lines and be more of the central focus, and I kinda feel like he is kind of a big piece of that movie, but, like, I feel like Captain America gets the same amount of screen time as Iron Man in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So, I don't really feel like anybody else gets the same screen time as them. Honestly, I feel like Loki and fucking Samuel L. Jackson get almost as much screen time as they do. So,
Yeah, that's very true.
but yeah, that sounds like, so like I've heard things about Robert Downey before, but like not as many things as we've heard about Ryan Reynolds.
Uh-huh. That's it.
So, that's it. So, it sounds like those two are having trouble. And like I honestly like it's hard for me to imagine Deadpool just, being super relevant among some of these other Avengers. Like he's just such an X-Men character that like I'm just like you're an X-Men and you're like a kind of like a weird, anti.
I'm surprised he's even in it.
Me too.
I
So
don't get it,
I kind of feel
especially
like
with
they
the
should be.
controversy around him.
Yeah,
I
dude. I
think it's
kind of
gonna be
feel
a
like
negative thing.
And look, for Marvel, it kind of makes sense, bro. Let me break it down in just a little bit different light for you, real quick. You look at their box office this year, okay? They made 400 something. They made almost 500 million on Captain America, okay?
Right,
They
and
made almost
Deadpool, yeah.
they made 350 on Thunderbolts. They barely broke they're the shitty Captain America movie that they just put out in February is probably gonna make more money than Fantastic Four is right now. Fantastic Four did $15 million on weekend 3 last weekend. Like,
But you
it's
have
not
Robert
looking good
Downey.
for
You
them, and
don't
then you
need
have
Ryan Reynolds on top of it.
no, but in their thinking is the last movie that did $1 billion in the Marvel universe is Wolverine versus Deadpool, or Deadpool and Wolverine, or whatever
I
the fuck it
totally
is.
get that, but also where a lot of people feel Marvel dropped off is after Endgame,
Yes,
and that was Robert Downey.
and as much of a fan and they're right, it might not even be Robert Downey.
Right,
It might be the legacy characters that you're missing. You kill Iron Man and you basically they may as well have killed I would have been more satisfied if they killed Steve Rogers than what they
right.
did.
Yeah, me too.
Like, that is my only criticism of that movie, and, like, I get it because like, I would go back for Peggy Carter too, and I love that scene. I love the ending of that movie where it's just the 2 of them dancing in, like, the '90s. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. Like, I love
But
that.
it
But
was a
still,
nice bow tie,
yes,
not bow tie, but it was like a nice
you
tying of the
should have
ribbon at the end of that movie.
taken a little while and then done a soft reboot. But Disney wants to fucking squeeze the cash cow out of everything. So they push all these movies and so Disney's pushing Marvel to spit out all these Disney Plus shows and all these fucking movies. And now Marvel feels like you got to do fucking homework to go watch a movie. The average person doesn't want to do that. I will do that because I am so invested in this that like I just love comic book culture. That is just
Yeah.
a big part of my life. But like my wife, who I dragged to a Marvel movie,
My wife.
she's not getting
Oh
into this
my
as
god,
deep.
I could
And
see
guess
her
what?
being
Guess what? You know who her favorite person is? Iron Man. And guess what? Since Iron Man hasn't been in the movies, Marvel hasn't been as interesting to her.
mhm.
When she wants to watch a movie, when she wants to rewatch a Marvel movie, she wants to rewatch one that's got Iron Man in it. She don't give a fuck about some of these new movies they're putting out. Like who cares about the Eternals? We want Iron Man. I want the X-Men. Like I want the big Marvel characters. I don't care about all the fucking side characters. Yeah, the comic books have fucking switched these characters 100 times, but like Ironheart's never going to be as cool as Iron Man, and it has nothing to do with race or gender.
I know, yeah. Is it Sunday? Because I feel like I'm at church.
So, I'm gonna move on from my soapbox real quick, just so we can
Alright.
touch on the last couple of things of news from the week. We're hitting time already, so let me just be quick with this. What do you know about Spider-Man's filming right now for Brand New Day?
I saw the costume reveal of that, like, teaser trailer. It's cool, and I mean, nothing special, but I'm not expecting everything to be special about it.
No, neither am I.
I think Tom Holland's a fantastic Spider-Man,
He's, I think, my favorite live action Spider-Man, you know? But
and
I have respect for the other guys too.
yeah, they
I
were
have
just
mad
different
respect for the other
style
guys.
movies, and he just fits in this universe.
Yeah, dude, like he feels like Peter Parker that I'm used to, like late high school, early college, struggling financially, real fucking smart kid, like real quippy, real fucking just
I love who they're bringing on as the villain, though, in Spider-Man. I heard it's
I
oh my gosh, what's his name?
are you talking about
Severance?
Mr. Milchick, uh,
Yeah, Miltech. Trammell.
Trammell.
Yep, Trammell, yep.
What's his first name? Tramell Tillman is his name, I
Tillman,
think.
yeah, I was about to say
Tramell
Hillman, but
Tillman.
you're right, Tillman.
Yeah, Tramell Tillman. So, but yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. I wanted to get your take. I don't know who he's playing, but
Do you think they're gonna incorporate Miles Morales into this
no.
somehow? No? Okay.
No, that is, part of their agreement with Sony is that
Oh,
Sony has
yeah.
Miles Morales, and they are keeping him in their universe because they don't wanna dilute what they don't wanna dilute their last Spider-Verse movie.
Okay.
They're maybe after Beyond the Spider-Verse, maybe you see Miles Morales come in sooner than later, but it ultimately sounds like after 2027, the Marvel Universe is mostly getting rebooted anyway, so we'll probably see maybe a new direction then, but it sounds like their big focus is gonna be on X-Men going forward when you first get the reset, which smart fucking move. I'll give them that. People have been anxiously waiting for X-Men to come since Marvel got the rights back from Fox. So, well, since Marvel bought the Fox,
We'll see how that goes. I'm still not convinced they'll do a good job, like, because you see
it's
what they did to
hard.
Star you see what Disney did to Star Wars,
It is hard.
and the
Yeah.
X-Men movies for 80% of the X-Men movies that were done with Hugh Jackman and crew were great, and
I don't know about 80,
well,
but
Days of
there's
Future
some
Past, the
Days of
all I
Future
liked all
Past
the
is really
Wolverine
good.
movies, even the one with Ryan Reynolds in it,
Origins. I
Origins,
look, dude, I got a soft spot for Origins too because guess
yeah.
what? Leaf Schreiber as Sabretooth is
Yes,
fantastic. So you're
yes.
right. You're right. Every one of these movies that everybody calls bad, there are redeeming qualities about each of them. Like I love the
The last
Wolverine.
one was awful, the
I
last
don't hear
X-Men movie.
I don't hear people talking about the Wolverine, but like the Wolverine is so fucking sick. Like dude, I will never not think about that fucking crazy high speed train fight in Japan. Like,
Yeah,
just, like,
yeah.
insane, like, leaving a funeral too, and it's just so
And
good, dude.
and then Logan was fantastic. I saw Logan
Logan's
in noir, so it was
amazing.
black and white, and oh my gosh, it
Really
was so good
yeah,
in the noir.
I have both versions on DVD on Blu-ray, so it's really good. I do like the black and white. I also really like the new one. I was really glad that they brought back X-23 in,
She was cool.
she was cool, yeah.
I love using her in Marvel vs. Capcom games. That's my chick right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on Spider-Man. It looks like they're filming. Looks like they've got a lot of stuff going on. Hulk's gonna be in it. The Punisher's gonna be in it. They've
that's
got
cool.
they've got Tremel Tillman, who one of my favorite characters on Severance. You
He's
know, just
my favorite.
he might be my
Who is
favorite
he
too.
gonna
Yeah,
be?
bro. Like
Have they
I
mentioned
no, they don't know who he's gonna be.
who are black villains? Unless if they race swap a villain, but
There's like the one rumor I keep hearing is that he could be Tombstone.
okay.
So, which I honestly cool take on the character. You know, if that's how they're gonna do it, I think that could be
Trauma Hellman can play fucking Catwoman, and I'd be like, I'm down to see it.
yeah, me too. So, but yeah, they're gonna. And then the only other thing is Sadie Sink is on set now. We still don't know who she's playing. There's like secret rumors that she could be her secret character name is a girl named Annabelle Adams. That's like who they're saying she is on set. But like when you look into like comic books, that character was like a bartender who sang in like one run of Spider-Man.
So I think it's gonna be like Gwen or something?
That's one theory, is that she's Gwen, and you're just like, okay, you guys want to make redheads blondes, because the last time you basically saw Emma Stone. You also before that was Bryce Dallas Howard. So turning the redheads blonde she could be Gwen
Poor
Stacy.
redheads, they're having it
She
so
could
rough.
They could bring in the real Mary Jane at this point, because MJ is not Mary Jane. That's her MJ is Michelle Jones. So not Mary Jane Watson. So I don't know, so they could still go that route. My favorite theory is that she could be Firestar. I think that's a great fucking call. Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Firestar and Iceman. I fucking love Spider-Man and his amazing friends. So if she's Firestar, I'm fucking here for it. There's also a rumor that she could be a young Jean Grey just in a Spider-Man movie, which I fucking be here for as well.
That gets my vote. That would be really cool.
Absolutely, bro. I could totally see it. But for her, maybe she doesn't want to do that again. Like, she's already played the rising up into the sky kind of character. Like, Jean Grey the Phoenix is very much what she kind of has portrayed on Stranger Things already in the last season. So, but yeah, I think that's all we have for updates on Marvel news. There's other stuff too that we could talk about, but I kind of feel like we can kick it for another episode.
Yeah, next time I know you want to talk about Alien. I want to talk about Dexter because it's coming close to the season
Okay.
finale, and I want to go over who I feel like is the New York Ripper, what's going to happen to Batista, what's going to happen to Harrison, what's going to happen to Dexter, Prater, Charlie. There's so much shit going on right now.
I know.
So we'll get into that.
We'll have another big update week next week. But until then, guys, stay curious.
Bye.